The sky above Earth darkened as a massive alien ship descended, its shadow swallowing entire cities. The ship was unlike anything humanity had ever seen, gleaming silver, shaped like a dagger, and radiating an eerie hum that made the ground tremble. People looked up in fear, their hearts pounding as the ship hovered ominously. A voice boomed from the ship, deep and cold, echoing across the planet. People of Earth, we are the Kryloth. Your world is now ours. Surrender, or face annihilation. The message was clear. The aliens were not here to negotiate. They were here to conquer. In the heart of New York City, a crowd gathered in front of the United Nations building. Leaders from every nation stood in silence, their faces pale with fear. The Kryloth had given them 1 hour to respond. But then, something unexpected happened. A lone figure stepped forward from the crowd. It was a man, unarmed and dressed in simple clothes. He walked calmly toward the center of the square, his eyes fixed on the alien ship. The crowd watched in stunned silence as he raised his hand, signaling for the aliens to listen. The Kryloth, intrigued by this act of defiance, focused their attention on him. The man spoke, his voice steady and strong. You come here, thinking you can take our world. You think we are weak, primitive, and helpless. But let me ask you this. He paused, his gaze unwavering. Is that all? The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The aliens, caught off guard, hesitated. For the first time, they felt something they had never experienced before, doubt. The man continued. You underestimate us. You think your technology and your threats will break us. But you don't know what we're capable of. You don't know what it means to be human. The crowd erupted in cheers, their fear replaced by a newfound sense of hope. The man's words had struck a chord, not just with the people of Earth, but with the aliens as well. The Kryloth, realizing they had underestimated humanity, issued a challenge. Prove your worth, they said. Face our tests, and we will reconsider our judgment. Fail, and your world will be destroyed. The stage was set. The battle for Earth had begun. The alien ship remained hovering above Earth, its presence a constant reminder of the stakes. The Kryloth had given humanity 24 hours to prepare for their tests. The world watched in tense anticipation as leaders scrambled to assemble a team capable of facing the unknown. The selection process was swift but deliberate. From every corner of the globe, individuals were chosen, not for their physical strength, but for their unique skills, resilience, and determination. Among them were a scientist, a soldier, an engineer, a doctor, and a teacher. Each had faced their own struggles in life, and each carried the weight of humanity's survival on their shoulders. The team gathered in a secure facility, their faces a mix of fear and determination. The Kryloth had transmitted the rules of the challenge, 3 tests, each designed to push humanity to its limits. The first test would begin at dawn. As the team prepared, the scientist spoke up. We don't know what they'll throw at us, but we know one thing, they think we're weak. They think we'll break under pressure. We need to prove them wrong. The soldier nodded. We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone on this planet. We can't afford to lose. The night passed in a blur of preparation and strategy. The team reviewed every possible scenario, but deep down, they knew the Kryloth would surprise them. At dawn, the alien ship emitted a low hum, and a beam of light shot down from the sky, creating a massive holographic arena in the middle of the desert. The Kryloth's voice echoed once more. Your first test begins now. Enter the arena. The team stepped forward, their hearts pounding. The arena was vast and alien, filled with strange structures and glowing symbols. At its center stood a massive pedestal with a glowing orb. The Kryloth's voice explained the rules. This is a test of intellect and teamwork. Solve the puzzle before you, and you may proceed. Fail, and your world will suffer the consequences. The team approached the pedestal and examined the orb. It was covered in intricate patterns and symbols, none of which made sense at first glance. The engineer studied it closely, tracing the lines with his fingers. "It's a code," he said. "But it's not just about logic. It's about understanding how these symbols connect." The scientist joined him, her mind racing. "We need to think differently. The Kryloth don't think like us. Their patterns might not follow our rules." As the team worked together, tensions rose. Time was running out, and the pressure was immense. The teacher, who had remained quiet until now, suddenly spoke up. "Wait," she said. "What if it's not about solving the puzzle? What if it's about understanding the purpose behind it?" Her words sparked a realization. The team shifted their approach, focusing not on the symbols themselves but on the story they told. Slowly, the patterns began to make sense. With minutes to spare, the engineer entered the final sequence. The orb glowed brighter, and a loud chime echoed through the arena. The Kryloth's voice returned, this time with a hint of surprise. "You have passed the first test. But do not celebrate yet. The next challenge will be far greater." The team exhaled in relief, but their celebration was short-lived. They had proven their intellect, but the Kryloth's words were a stark reminder that the hardest trials were still ahead. As they left the arena, the soldier turned to the others. "We did it this time, but we can't let our guard down. They're testing us, and they won't make it easy." The scientist nodded. "We need to stay focused. Whatever comes next, we face it together." The world watched as the team prepared for the second test, their hope growing with each passing moment. Humanity had taken its first step toward proving its worth, but the journey was far from over. The team stood at the edge of the desert, the alien arena glowing ominously behind them. The first test had been a close call, but they had passed. Now, the Kryloth's voice echoed once more, announcing the second challenge. "Your next test will begin immediately. Enter the arena and prove your resilience." The team exchanged uneasy glances but stepped forward without hesitation. The arena had transformed. The glowing symbols and structures were gone, replaced by a harsh, barren landscape. The air was thick with heat, and the ground cracked under their feet. In the distance, a massive sandstorm loomed, its dark clouds swirling violently. The Kryloth's voice explained the rules: you must cross the desert and reach the oasis before the storm consumes you. Fail, and your world will face the consequences. The team quickly assessed the situation. The oasis was visible on the horizon, but the storm was closing in fast. They had no supplies, no vehicles, and no idea what dangers lay ahead. The soldier took charge. "We need to move quickly, but we can't afford to make mistakes. Stick together and watch each other's backs." The team set off at a steady pace, their eyes fixed on the oasis. The heat was unbearable, and the sand burned their skin. Every step felt like a battle, but they pushed forward, driven by the knowledge that failure was not an option. As they walked, the doctor noticed something strange. The storm, it's not natural. It's moving too fast, and the sand, it's cutting through the air like blades. The engineer nodded. The Kryloth are testing our endurance. They want to see how far we can push ourselves. The storm grew closer, its winds howling like a beast. The team quickened their pace, but the sand began to sting their faces and hands. The teacher, struggling to keep up, stumbled and fell. I can't go on," she gasped, her voice barely audible over the wind. The soldier knelt beside her. "Yes, you can. We're not leaving anyone behind." With the help of the others, the teacher got back on her feet. They pressed on, their determination unwavering. The storm was almost upon them now, its dark clouds swallowing the sky. Just as they reached the oasis, the storm hit with full force. The team dove for cover, shielding themselves from the relentless sand and wind. For what felt like an eternity, they huddled together, their bodies battered but their spirits unbroken. When the storm finally passed, the Krylotha's voice returned. You have survived the second test. But do not think you have won. The final challenge will test your very soul. The team emerged from the oasis, their bodies bruised and exhausted but their resolve stronger than ever. They had faced the storm and come out on the other side. As they prepared for the final test, the scientist spoke up. We've proven our intellect and our resilience. Now, we need to show them what it truly means to be human. The others nodded in agreement. They didn't know what the Kryloth had planned, but they were ready to face it together. The team stood at the edge of the oasis, their bodies weary but their spirits unbroken. The Krylotha's voice echoed once more, announcing the final challenge. Your last test will begin now. Enter the arena and prove your worth. The arena had transformed again. The barren desert was gone, replaced by a vast, dark cavern. The air was cold and damp, and the only light came from glowing crystals embedded in the walls. In the center of the cavern stood a massive door, covered in strange symbols and pulsing with an eerie energy. The Krylotha's voice explained the rules. Beyond this door lies your final challenge. Face it, and you may save your world. Fail, and all will be lost. The team approached the door, their hearts pounding. The symbols on the door were unlike anything they had seen before, but the teacher recognized something familiar. These symbols, they're not just random. They tell a story, she said, her voice filled with awe. The scientist joined her, studying the symbols closely. It's a story of sacrifice and redemption. The Kryloth are testing our morality. The soldier stepped forward. Whatever's behind that door, we face it together. No matter what happens, we stick to our principles. With a deep breath, the team pushed the door open and stepped inside. The cavern beyond was vast and filled with a strange, otherworldly light. In the center stood a pedestal, and on it rested a glowing crystal. The Krylotha's voice returned. This is your final test. Take the crystal, and your world will be saved. But know this, the crystal is the heart of our power. Taking it will doom our civilization. The team froze, their minds racing. The choice was clear but agonizing. They could save their world, but at the cost of another. The doctor spoke up, her voice trembling. We can't do this. We can't destroy an entire civilization, no matter what they've done. The engineer nodded. There has to be another way. We need to find a solution that doesn't involve sacrificing others. The team huddled together, discussing their options. They knew the Kryloth were watching, waiting to see what they would do. Finally, the teacher stepped forward. We won't take the crystal. We won't sacrifice your civilization to save ours. But we ask you to reconsider your judgment. We've proven our worth. We've shown that humanity is capable of compassion, resilience, and unity. Isn't that enough? For a moment, there was silence. Then, the cavern began to shake, and the light grew brighter. The Krylotha's voice returned, but this time, it was different. You have passed the final test. You have proven that humanity is worthy of survival. We will leave your world in peace. The team exhaled in relief, their hearts filled with joy and pride. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged victorious, not through strength or intellect, but through compassion and unity. As they left the cavern, the Krylotha's ship began to ascend, its dark shadow lifting from the earth. The team watched as it disappeared into the sky, their hearts filled with hope for the future. As the Kryloth ship vanished into the sky, the team stood in silence, their minds racing with questions. They had passed the tests, but something about the Krylotha's sudden departure felt incomplete. The scientist, always curious, was the first to voice her thoughts. They left too quickly, she said, her eyes narrowing. Why would they just give up like that? There's more to this. The soldier nodded. I don't trust it. They were too confident, too arrogant. This doesn't feel like a victory. The team decided to investigate further. They returned to the cavern where the final test had taken place, hoping to find answers. The glowing crystals still pulsed with energy, and the pedestal where the crystal had rested was now empty. But as they searched the area, the engineer noticed something unusual, a hidden panel in the wall, covered in the same strange symbols. Over here, he called, his voice filled with excitement. The team gathered around the panel, and the teacher began deciphering the symbols. It's a message, she said. It says, "The truth lies within." The soldier pressed the panel, and it slid open, revealing a hidden passage. The team exchanged uneasy glances but decided to press on. The passage led to a small chamber, filled with holographic recordings and alien technology. As they explored the chamber, the scientist activated one of the holograms. It showed the Krylotha's homeworld, a barren, lifeless planet, its surface cracked and desolate. The hologram then shifted to show the Kryloth themselves, their once great civilization now reduced to a handful of survivors. The doctor gasped. They're not conquerors, they're refugees. The hologram continued, revealing the Krylotha's history. They had once been a peaceful, advanced civilization, but a catastrophic event had destroyed their planet. Desperate to survive, they had turned to conquering other worlds, using fear and intimidation to mask their weakness. The teacher's eyes filled with tears. They weren't testing us to see if we were worthy, they were testing us to see if we could help them. The team fell silent, the weight of the revelation sinking in. The Krylotha's arrogance and threats had been a facade, a desperate attempt to hide their vulnerability. The soldier clenched his fists. We need to find them. We need to tell them they don't have to do this alone. The scientist nodded. We have the technology to help them. We can share our resources, our knowledge, we can show them there's another way. The team quickly formulated a plan. Using the alien technology in the chamber, they sent a message to the Kryloth ship, offering their help. The message was simple but heartfelt. We know the truth. You don't have to face this alone. Let us help you. For hours, there was no response. The team waited anxiously, their hopes fading with each passing moment. But then, the hologram flickered to life, and the Krylotha's voice returned. You have seen our secret, it said, its tone softer now. We did not expect this. We did not expect compassion. The team held their breath, waiting for the Krylotha's decision. We accept your offer, the voice continued. But know this, we are not worthy of your kindness. The scientist smiled. Kindness isn't about worth. It's about doing what's right. The hologram faded, and the team knew the Kryloth were on their way back. They had faced the ultimate test, not of strength or intellect, but of empathy, and they had passed. The Kryloth ship returned to Earth, its once menacing presence now tinged with a sense of humility. The team, along with world leaders, gathered to welcome the aliens, not as conquerors, but as allies. The atmosphere was tense but hopeful, as humanity prepared to extend a hand of friendship to a civilization that had once threatened them. The Kryloth emerged from their ship, their appearance strikingly different from what the team had imagined. They were tall and slender, with shimmering silver skin and eyes that glowed faintly. Their movements were graceful, but there was a weariness in their demeanor, a reflection of the struggles they had endured. The leader of the Kryloth stepped forward, addressing the team in a voice that was both melodic and somber. We have lived in fear for so long, hiding our weakness behind threats and intimidation. Your compassion has shown us a different path, one we had forgotten existed. The scientist, representing humanity, responded. We understand what it means to face extinction. But we also believe that no one should face it alone. Together, we can find a way to save your civilization. The Kryloth leader nodded, a gesture of gratitude. We are ready to accept your help. But we must warn you, the challenges ahead will not be easy. Our planet is dying, and time is running out. The team quickly got to work, collaborating with the Kryloth to develop a plan. Using Earth's resources and the Kryloth's advanced technology, they began designing a solution to restore the alien homeworld. The project was ambitious, requiring unprecedented levels of cooperation and innovation. As the days turned into weeks, the bond between humans and Kryloth grew stronger. The teacher spent hours learning about Kryloth culture, while the engineer worked side by side with alien technicians to build the necessary equipment. The doctor helped treat Kryloth survivors who had suffered from the harsh conditions of their dying planet, and the soldier ensured that the collaboration remained peaceful and productive. But not everyone was on board with the plan. Some world leaders, still wary of the Kryloth, questioned the decision to help them. Why should we risk our resources for a civilization that threatened us? One leader asked during a heated meeting. The soldier stepped forward, his voice firm. Because it's the right thing to do. If we turn our backs on them now, we're no better than they were when they threatened us. This is our chance to show what humanity is truly capable of. His words resonated with the leaders, and they agreed to continue supporting the project. However, the challenges were far from over. One day, as the team was testing a prototype device designed to stabilize the Kryloth homeworld's atmosphere, disaster struck. A malfunction caused an explosion, destroying months of work and injuring several team members, both human and Kryloth. The Kryloth leader, visibly shaken, approached the scientist. Perhaps this is a sign. Perhaps our fate is inevitable. The scientist shook her head. No. Setbacks are part of the process. We've come too far to give up now. The team rallied together, working tirelessly to rebuild what had been lost. Their determination inspired the Kryloth, who began to believe that their homeworld could indeed be saved. As the project neared completion, the Kryloth leader addressed the team once more. You have shown us the true meaning of strength, not through power or fear, but through compassion and perseverance. We will never forget what you have done for us. The team smiled, their hearts filled with pride. They had faced countless challenges, but they had proven that humanity's greatest strength lay in its ability to unite and overcome. The day of the final test arrived. The device designed to stabilize the Kryloth homeworld's atmosphere was ready, but its success was far from guaranteed. The team, along with the Kryloth, gathered in the control room, their eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the alien planet. The atmosphere was tense, the weight of the moment pressing heavily on everyone. The scientist, who had led the project, took a deep breath and addressed the group. This is it. We've done everything we can. Now, it's up to the device, and a little bit of luck. The Kryloth leader nodded. We trust you. Whatever happens, we are grateful for your efforts. The engineer activated the device, and a beam of energy shot into the sky, directed toward the Kryloth homeworld. The holographic display showed the beam reaching the planet, enveloping it in a shimmering light. For a moment, nothing happened. The team held their breath, their hearts pounding. Then, slowly, the cracks on the planet's surface began to close, and the atmosphere started to stabilize. The control room erupted in cheers as the holographic display showed the Kryloth homeworld coming back to life. The team hugged each other, their faces filled with joy and relief. But their celebration was short-lived. The engineer noticed something unusual on the display. Wait, the energy levels are fluctuating. The device is overloading. The scientist quickly analyzed the data. If the device fails, the planet will be destroyed. We need to stabilize it, but it's too far away for us to make adjustments from here. The soldier stepped forward. Then we'll go there. We'll stabilize it manually. The Kryloth leader shook his head. It's too dangerous. The planet's surface is still unstable. You could die. The scientist looked at the team, her eyes filled with determination. We've come this far. We can't stop now. The team quickly prepared for the mission, donning protective suits and boarding a Kryloth shuttle. As they approached the planet, they could see the devastation up close, cracks in the surface, rivers of molten lava, and a sky filled with ash. The shuttle landed near the device, and the team rushed to stabilize it. The engineer worked frantically, adjusting the controls while the soldier and doctor kept watch for any dangers. As the engineer made the final adjustments, the ground beneath them began to shake. A massive crack opened, threatening to swallow the device, and the team. The soldier grabbed the engineer and pulled him to safety just as the ground gave way. The device, now stable, continued to emit the energy needed to heal the planet. The team watched in awe as the cracks closed, the lava cooled, and the sky cleared. The Kryloth homeworld was being reborn. The Kryloth leader, who had been monitoring the mission from the shuttle, spoke over the comms. You've done it. You've saved our world. The team returned to the shuttle, their bodies exhausted but their spirits soaring. They had faced the ultimate test, not just of their skills, but of their courage and determination. As they left the planet, the scientist looked out the window at the now thriving world below. We did it together. Humans and Kryloth, side by side. The Kryloth leader nodded. You have shown us the true meaning of strength. We will never forget what you have done for us. The team returned to Earth, where they were greeted as heroes. But they knew their journey was far from over. The bond between humans and Kryloth had been forged, and together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. The successful stabilization of the Kryloth homeworld marked the beginning of a new era, not just for the Kryloth, but for humanity as well. The team returned to Earth as heroes, their actions celebrated across the globe. But for them, the real victory was the bond they had formed with the Kryloth, a bond built on trust, compassion, and shared purpose. The Kryloth, now free from the desperation that had driven them to threaten Earth, began the long process of rebuilding their civilization. With humanity's help, they worked to restore their planet's ecosystems and create a sustainable future. The collaboration between the two species became a symbol of hope, proving that even the deepest divides could be bridged through understanding and cooperation. On Earth, the team was invited to speak at the United Nations, where they shared their story with the world. The scientist took the stage, her voice steady but filled with emotion. We faced the unknown together, humans and Kryloth. We learned that our greatest strength lies not in our technology or our weapons, but in our ability to unite and overcome. This is just the beginning. Together, we can achieve anything. Her words resonated deeply, inspiring people everywhere to embrace the spirit of collaboration and empathy. The story of humanity's triumph over fear and division became a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always a path forward. But the journey was not without its challenges. Some still harbored doubts about the Kryloth, their fears fueled by the memory of the aliens' initial threats. The soldier, now a symbol of courage and leadership, worked tirelessly to address these concerns. We can't let fear dictate our actions, he said during a public address. The Kryloth made mistakes, but so have we. What matters is how we move forward. Together, we can build a future that benefits everyone. His words helped ease the tensions, and over time, the partnership between humans and Kryloth grew stronger. Joint projects were launched, ranging from scientific research to cultural exchanges. The teacher, who had played a key role in bridging the gap between the two species, organized a program where humans and Kryloth could learn about each other's histories and traditions. One day, the Kryloth leader visited Earth to personally thank the team. You have given us more than a second chance, he said. You have shown us the power of compassion and the importance of unity. We will never forget what you have done for us. The team smiled, their hearts filled with pride. They had set out to prove humanity's worth, but in the process, they had discovered something even greater, the potential for a brighter future, built on the foundation of mutual respect and understanding. As the Kryloth leader prepared to return to his homeworld, he turned to the team one last time. This is not the end of our journey. It is only the beginning. Together, we will face whatever challenges come our way. The team nodded, their resolve unwavering. They had faced the unknown and emerged stronger, united by a shared purpose and a belief in the power of hope. Years had passed since humanity and the Kryloth first joined forces. The collaboration between the two species had transformed both worlds, ushering in an era of unprecedented progress and unity. The Kryloth homeworld, once on the brink of destruction, was now a thriving planet, its cities bustling with life and its skies clear and bright. Earth, too, had benefited from the partnership, with advancements in technology, medicine, and environmental restoration improving the lives of billions. The team that had once faced the Kryloth's tests had become legends, their story told and retold across the galaxy. But for them, the true reward was seeing the fruits of their labor, a future where humans and Kryloth work together as equals, united by a shared vision of peace and prosperity. One day, the team was invited to a ceremony on the Kryloth homeworld, where a monument had been erected to commemorate the alliance between their species. The monument, a towering structure of shimmering crystal and steel, symbolized the strength and resilience that had brought them together. As the team stood before the monument, the Kryloth leader addressed the crowd. This monument is not just a symbol of our past. It is a promise for the future, a promise that we will never forget the lessons we have learned. Together, we have proven that even the greatest challenges can be overcome through compassion, courage, and unity. The scientist, now older but still as determined as ever, stepped forward to speak. When we first faced the Kryloth, we were afraid. We didn't know what to expect. But we chose to see beyond our fear, to reach out with an open heart. That choice changed everything. She paused, her gaze sweeping over the crowd. The lesson we learned is simple but profound. True strength lies not in power or dominance, but in the ability to understand, to empathize, and to unite. This is the lesson we must carry forward, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing across the planet. The team smiled, their hearts filled with pride and gratitude. They had set out to prove humanity's worth, but in the process, they had discovered something even greater, the power of hope and the potential for a brighter future. As the ceremony ended, the team gathered one last time, reflecting on their journey. The soldier, now retired, spoke first. We've come a long way. But this isn't the end. There's still so much to do, so many challenges to face. The engineer nodded. And we'll face them together, just like we always have. The teacher smiled. We've shown the galaxy what's possible. Now it's up to others to carry the torch. The doctor, who had spent years healing both humans and Kryloth, added, we've made a difference. That's what matters. The scientist, her eyes filled with determination, concluded, this is just the beginning. Together, we can achieve anything. As they left the monument, the team knew their journey was far from over. But they also knew that they had laid the foundation for a future built on compassion, courage, and unity, a future where anything was possible. And so, the story of humanity in the Kryloth became a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always a path forward. Together, they had proven that no challenge is too great, no divide too wide, and no dream too big.